The month of May is a special month because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And that is a really, really deep subject that a lot of us probably know someone who has a mental illness or may even be part of that group who you yourself has been diagnosed. So, on that note, I want to introduce to you our special guest. The reason I say our because it's not just for me, it's also for you. Her name is Ashley Smith. She's out of Atlanta, Georgia, and she's been diagnosed having schizophrenia, bipolar. She's struggled with depression, and she's have been on this roller coaster of a journey. I mean, a roller coaster of a journey. She's going to share some of that with you. But I have to admire this lady because she didn't stop fighting. And not saying it was easy because it wasn't. And not saying she didn't hit a lot of bumps in the road because she did. I'm not saying she didn't go to some really dark places because she did. But she fought within herself, God, family, to be as much as her best self in her condition. And so we want to take her story, but take it to heart because this is her story. I mean, real truth, her truth. And just listen to her when I was speaking with her to even encourage me to when I see people like that to see them differently and don't just dismiss it because they're real people, real issues. And we ought to have compassion for all people and not just see the behavior, but see them. So without further ado, we want to bring on my guest, Ashley Smith. And we want to give her a round of applause saying thank you for sharing her story and taking time out to be a part of this episode of Share It with Charlotte. So, Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much for having me a part of your show. I'm excited to be here with you.
And I want to say welcome. Welcome to Share It with Charlotte podcast and being a part of this segment and just want to dive in. So, what can you share about us, about
Yes,
yourself?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and as you said, I'm part of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I'm not only a mental health advocate, but I'm an author and a mother, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. I know we talked a little bit before, and I was asking you even then, you know, was this something that you were diagnosed as a child, or when did you first find out that there was something actually wrong?
Actually, no, I was not diagnosed as a child. In fact, I don't have any childhood trauma, as maybe assumed a lot of individuals with a diagnosis similar to mine. I was actually diagnosed at age 20 after a
Yeah.
legal incident that led to my arrest and my diagnosis and hospitalization back in 2007.
Okay, can you just give us a little bit about maybe some of the things that you saw within yourself that's like something isn't right with me because this isn't not even me.
Yes, when I had those symptoms, a wide range of symptoms, I did not understand what was happening. And I try to rationalize the voices. I try to rationalize the idea of seeing ghosts and spirits following me, trying to rationalize the paranoia, the fear. And my voices, they were male and female voices, which I understand are different for everybody.
Hmm.
They're very discouraging and critical of the people around me, and especially of myself. Um, I had I had experienced different type of hallucinations.
Hmm.
I felt like a large tarantula was crawling on me. I smelled fire. I saw ghosts and spirits. I
Wow.
heard voices. Um,
Wow.
it was very, it was intense and overwhelming, and it made me very fearful because I was afraid of everybody, including my family, thinking that
Mm,
they're out to get me, not to harm me.
mm. Wow. And I know just within it, just even that, just sharing that, I mean, that level of fear was real. You know, one perception is one's reality, whether it's happening or not, but that was your reality, that all this stuff was truly happening. And so, and then what led you to actually get diagnosed?
Yes, the arrest. Oh my goodness. It was very out of character because prior to this incident, I was going to a 4-year university here in Atlanta. I
Mm,
made the dean's list. I was on the cross country team 3 years.
wow,
I was a assistant youth coach. I was doing all these wonderful things and going to church and working in the mall. And I took a break from school. I went back to California to regroup,
hmm,
and the symptoms got progressively worse. It felt like it happened in days, but it was actually happening over months and possibly even years. The
wow,
diagnosis, those rough symptoms hit hard.
mm,
I was already having hallucinations. I didn't understand what a hallucination was at the time.
mm,
But fast forwarding to those final days prior to my arrest, I got up one morning, went to church as usual. Um, I was very fearful of my church members. Everyone looked like they were demonic with their dark eyes.
wow,
And I decided to go back to Atlanta. I was 20 years old. I cashed my check. I'm going to
mm,
Atlanta. I went to the airport by public transit. The clerk at the desk seemed very eerie to me. I thought everybody was watching me, following me.
wow,
And I ended up walking around the grounds of the airport, and I took a pickup truck in the parking lot, which happened to be a military pickup truck. I went a high speed chase of the police. I
wow,
crashed that vehicle head on into a building, and I was
mm,
eventually arrested and jailed. I'd never been to jail before. I never
wow,
had an incident with the police. I didn't have a violent history, and I still don't have a violent history. And so that was the beginning of my recovery. Thank
mm,
God I was uh, forced medicated and
mm,
diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was, because imagine if I made it to Atlanta, uh, uh, who knows what would have happened. That legal intervention saved my life, and it
wow,
made my recovery journey.
wow. Now that's a story, actually. That's a story. But a lot of times, even though that led to you being diagnosed, and it really took that journey for you to find what was really wrong with you. I mean, a lot of stuff, like you were saying, it was so out of character for you. It wasn't really who you were naturally. So, and even and if you were thinking that, you can only imagine what your family was thinking, because it was so out of character for you. Because like you said, you were 20 years old. That means people have watched you grow for 20 years, and then now here you are, and somebody who was groomed to thrive. I mean, you were groomed to thrive, to really to soar. Like you was in college, all this stuff that people do in order to improve their life, and then bam, you get hit with a wall. It hits you. And so and now it's like, what do you do with that? So
And
what
going back
what
to
do
my
you do with that?
family,
Hmm.
going back to my family, they filed a missing persons report. It
Wow.
was scary. It was a crisis not just for me in my head and in real life. It was everybody was involved. I mean, when people may learn about these incidents, it's not just I went to the hospital, I got a diagnosis, and went home with some pills. No, there may be incidents, there may be crises.
Hmm.
There is a range of symptoms that may dismiss early on. And who knows how long these symptoms may have taken place, and the fear that was going on inside of me when I had these symptoms. But again, it was trauma for me and my family.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I admire you. Like I said, just reading your material, you know, um, just your life journey on where you been, and of course where you are. Um, I know you mentioned something to me, because I know stress. Stress brings on a lot of things, even if you didn't have, all these other mental disorders. I'm just saying stress alone, even on someone who considered normal. brings on a lot of things. So, what have you learned though, as far as that?
I've learned that stress, as I agree with you, it makes everything worse.
Mhm,
It worsens my depression. It worsens my schizophrenia symptoms. And what does depression look like? It looks like
mhm,
struggling to get out of bed. It looks like carrying a weight on your shoulders. It looks like missing appointments, appearing flaky to friends and family. It looks like procrastinating on the job, negative self talk. It's just uh, piles and piles of a workload, piles and piles of negative self talk. That's just depression. I didn't even go into the schizophrenia and the
mm,
bipolar disorder, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
mm,
But I want to emphasize that even though I've been through these trials, even though I've been through the storms, I've been through jail, I've been through so much, as I know many people, many other people have too, living with this diagnosis. We're survivors. It's manageable. I can't say that enough. It is
mm,
manageable. Like I
mm,
said, I'm a mother. I have a 12-year-old son. I live
mhm,
independently. I'm working part time and I'm
mm,
doing the best that I can do. And I know that there are countless individuals, not even, uh, I don't want to say struggling, but they're managing well, having quality
right,
lives, quality
right,
lives. And people just don't understand what recovery can look like. I understand that we don't talk about this because it's
mhm,
very stigmatized, as we all can imagine. But
mhm,
this is a manageable condition. And if someone were to get a diagnosis today, I would say don't lose hope. There's still better days ahead. Do not give up. Take your medication because you can continue to live your life and do great
mhm.
things.
And see what for those that are listening, what Ashley is saying, I mean, like she's saying, she can't stress it enough. It is manageable, but it's all about finding the right medication that's going to create that balance, because we're always talking about balance in you so that you can manage your disorder. So it's not like you have to give up on life. You don't have to feel like you're so defeated. But you can find that level of balance so you can still have a life. Like she said, I'm working part time. I have a 12-year-old son. I am living independently, meaning I'm managing life. And you got some people who are really considered normal in a sense, who still can't even manage life. And so you have to admire someone who is taken on all of this that has been given to her through her life journey and still have found a way to manage life. And it all started with the relationship within herself. She's found what's working for her. And the message to anyone out there is find what works for you. And I know she said, as I was reading, that she journals a lot, and that's therapeutic for her. So, can you share about that for those that are listening? Actually,
Yes, I have a lot of coping tools. I have a lot of coping skills. I have a lot of coping tools. I'm recycling them every single day because every single day I have to take a moment and work on myself. That looks like journaling. That looks like walking around my neighborhood or the park. That looks
hmm
like petting my two dogs. That looks like playing card games with my son. That looks like meditation. I'm doing all these things, especially the affirmations and
yes,
prayer and praise and
yes,
worship because that is what's helping me stay focused on better days. Like I mentioned previous to this interview, I've been through some dark times, and
hmm
it was just I'm just grateful that weight is lifted off my shoulder, the weight of depression. I'm grateful I'm not warring with myself, the mind wars. I'm grateful that I found a medication that works for me. I'm not only on one medication, I'm taking antipsychotic, a mood stabilizer, antidepressant, and an anxiety medication as needed. Um, and so it's not just taking medication and go about your business. It's
hmm
taking medication and do what you can do to manage your condition. Do what
There
you
you go.
can do to find peace of mind. Do
There you
what you
go.
can do
hmm
to overcome because we're all overcomers at
I
some
like
point.
that exactly. And as you see, all these medications that she having to take, but it's the realization of knowing these medication that's been prescribed to you is what's keeping you up. And so, and I know you mentioned before, people run from medication. They just don't want to take it. But if that means your life being imbalanced and you've been imbalanced in life, then you have to take your medication. It's all part of the process, because clearly, and I want to stress this, clearly you cannot manage without it. Clearly, without your medication, you'll be right back into that person that you're trying to never go back to, that person. So clearly, medication works. And so it's just finding the right medication, because everybody's different. Everybody have a different balance in their chemistry that's in their own body. Their chemical imbalance. We all have our own. But you find what works for you, and that's your doctors, so that your life can be in sync, that you can be in sync with life. And so I'm glad you found what you needed, Ashley. So you can be in this place. Like you said, it's still a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. We all live in a life where we all on this journey being a work in progress, because you never know. We never know what's going to hit us. And so anything can sink us. You can wake up one day, on a high, and you can be sink low by evening, because you never know what life gonna bring to you. So I appreciate that. I know with your son being 12, I know, and you being in his life for 12 years. What has all that been like for you and for him?
Actually, I'm a single mother, and as I know a
Mhm,
lot of single parents out there can relate to this. You don't have to have a diagnosis to relate. It's hard.
mhm,
Being a single parent, it's hard emotionally.
mhm.
That's I think that being a single parent and having a diagnosis
Yeah,
is challenging, but I think they both have they both have their rough points, really rough points. But they're also great days.
yeah.
My son's birthday,
Beautiful.
holiday,
Beautiful.
um, getting that those good feedback from his teachers, going to that first tournament and things like that.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I'm just grateful that I'm able to have a child, because some people cannot have children because of the medication. I'm
Mm,
grateful I can have a child. I'm grateful I can take care of them. And it wasn't just me. As we discussed before, it
yeah.
took a village. I'm
Yeah.
leaning, unfortunately, my
Yeah.
mother passed away in 2013. If you can imagine taking care of your 1 year old without your mom,
Yeah. Wow.
I
That's
leaned on my roommates, I leaned on my neighbors, I leaned on
mhm,
coworkers, I leaned on my NAMI family,
mhm,
because it was a lot. It
mm,
still is a lot, but I have support, and that is crucial. It's crucial for any medical condition.
beautiful.
Having this condition, I would say some important keys to management: therapy, medication, and your support system.
Good. Good. And and this is for anybody. It takes other than just yourself to raise your children. And you, like I said, you had a village. Your mom had already passed, as your child was growing up. But you created a village around you and your children, so that you didn't have to feel like you were all in this by yourself. We as people need people. I can't stress that enough. If you feel like you can do something all by yourself, you fooling yourself. People need people, because you're not the end all of everything. No one else. We don't have all the answers. We can't do every single thing that's needed. People need people, but you need the right people that's going to be in your life, but that has your best interest, the one that you know you can trust, you can count on, and those who truly love you unconditionally. Because we don't get everything right, and so you don't want people just going to judge you and then leave you, but you want people who are who's going to be in there with you and for you. You've been blessed. You've been blessed, but that doesn't mean other people can't find their village. Who's in your village? And then because we need people, we need people. A lot of my years that I was raising my children, my three sons, I was a single parent. And I always said my village, because if I was late picking them up from school, and it's like, and you had to pay all these late fees, we had a little, it was a threesome. If I couldn't, they did. Because you need people. You can't be everything at all times. You can't be. So I'm thankful that God gave you that village that helped you with your son, to help raise him. So where are you now, though, Ashley? What are you doing now?
So right now I'm a peer counselor, known as a certified peer specialist here in Georgia. I've been
Mhm.
doing this work for behavioral health since 2012.
Okay.
I educate individuals like myself who have a diagnosis about their mental illness and about their medical conditions. I encourage them to continue to aim for their life goals, whether that's living independently, going
Mhm.
back to work, or just managing from day to day.
Mhm.
I love my job.
Good.
I travel around Georgia to meet people in their home, the day program, personal care homes, and it's very fulfilling. It's very
Good.
fulfilling.
Hmm.
Oh
And
yeah, and other things that I do.
what?
I still volunteer with NAMI. I facilitate a support group. I
Okay.
also sit on the Cures Foundation Advisory Council, where I share my personal story and give lived
Gotcha.
experience advice to others with schizophrenia, caregivers, individuals living with a diagnosis. And we have, like this, we have great conversations,
Okay.
and we are continuing to overcome. We are continuing to survive, maintain, and to thrive. So many people are going through crisis right now. So many people don't know how to get individuals into treatment. So many people are dealing with people, their loved ones that are homeless because they just got up and walked away, like me. Just got up and walked away one day. Missing persons
Wow.
report. They don't know where the family is, but is
Mm,
missing them. But if they only knew, medication helps, therapy helps.
mm,
Lean on your family, lean on your caregivers. It does wonders because I'm living for feeling life, and I've been through some dark moments, but I've been
mm.
through some really high moments too, some great
Beautiful.
moments.
Beautiful. I'm so proud of you, Lashley. I really am. And even when you speak, I mean, you can just tell the life that's in you. You know, some people can just say the words, but I'm watching the way you emphasize things, this aura that you're giving off, like you really have found your place of balance. And so, I mean, that's beautiful to be in that place where, you can, like I say, I've been in some the darkest place, and you've been there, and those stories are real. Your past is real. It happened. But you don't have to wear that. You're not wearing that today. Your past. What you wearing is the process of you coming out of that, and being in position where you are now. That's what I see. I don't see all those struggles, because you move beyond that. Because I'm looking at you seeing a very vibrant person. I see someone who's trying to thrive, and driven. You're very driven to be your best self in all of this stuff. And that's what I encourage anyone to be, because we all got something. We all do. It's not like my something may not be your something, but everybody got something. But can you be your best self in your something? Whatever that something is. And I see someone who's determined to be that person in you, actually. And that's huge, because you're not just on this podcast, you know, um, just sharing your story. You're on this podcast showing that it can happen, because I'm living proof of it. I'm an example of where I was, and where I've been, and where I am today. You're an example. So if you can do that, which I always say, we're nobody special, but we're just ordinary people, been dealt a hand that life has given us, doing extraordinary things to be processed out of it, to be our best self while we actually still in it. Because it doesn't go away just because you look the way you look, and you're talking the way you talk. You still have schizophrenia, you still bipolar, and you still deal with depression, but you don't have to wear it. And
Yes.
because you're not wearing it, I don't see, when I see you, I don't even see that. but you know it's in you, but you don't have to wear it. And that's
That's
the
right.
beauty. That's the beauty.
I want to
Yeah.
add something because people see me today and they're like, "Oh, she's superhuman. She doesn't have a diagnosis. It's not that bad."
Mhm.
I had some great years.
Mhm.
2007 was the beginning of my diagnosis. I went 11 years without any troubles, no hospitalization. 2018 hit, I had a hospitalization. Just
Mhm.
last year, May of last year, 2023, I had a hospitalization. I'm
Mhm.
not immune. I just came out of a dark depression. It's fortunate that I was able to get these books off the ground,
Mhm.
the controlling the weight of depression. My
I saw
blog,
that. Yeah.
Controlling the Weight of Depression. It just came out earlier this year. I'm grateful I was able to put those blogs together. I'm inspiring myself as I'm working on these books. My book from last year, it wasn't me. It was not me. That was my
Mhm.
mom talking. That was the spirit
Mhm.
talking through me,
Mhm.
crushing the spirit of depression. I
Mhm.
encourage everybody, if you want something inspirational, if you want something motivating, if you want something to uplift you every single day,
Mhm.
consider buying these books today. Crushing the Spirit of Depression. It has 30 prayers, 30
Yeah.
affirmations. And my blog book, those short articles, it's not just a sad story. It's not just an illness story. It was hard for me to get out of bed, but I
Mhm.
made baby steps. I took
Mhm.
a shower today. I
Mhm.
mean, it's been really bad,
Yeah.
but here I am. You
Yeah.
can't see that. You can't
No.
see the uh, the absentness in my eyes of me looking out in the days. You can't see the fact that I was just not in my right state of mind. And
Mm.
I'm grateful for that. And it's not just the therapy, it's not just the medication, it's not just the support system, but it's God.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
This is the power of God. This is the power of the spirit of resiliency
Ah.
that dwells in everybody.
Mm.
Everybody holds a spirit of resiliency.
Yes.
Everybody is dealing with something.
Yes.
Everybody can get through. I'm
Yes.
not only proof, I'm just here because of the grace of God. Yeah, I've been through some hard times, but I'm
Mhm.
still here.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? That is so beautiful. And what I mean, I was feeling that actually. I was feeling everything you just said, and it touched me, even to say from this morning, I got out of bed. I took a shower. That we just take for granted. I got out of bed and I took a shower. Where some people just take it for granted. You just get out of bed and you just go, but I'm just saying that's a big thing because you know why? Because now you're moving your day. I'm not standing at one place in my bed as if I don't want to even be in today. I'm literally stepping into my today. And that is huge. And I mean, just listening to you speak on those steps that you were taking, and you dressed and you groomed and you did this that we take for granted of doing the simplest things that for you was something you got to praise yourself because I did it. And like I said, but if you can, other people can too. And it's like I said, it's not like it's easy. I mean, it's not, but you did it. Your resilience, your determination, and just allowing yourself to say, today I will. Today I will. I will get out of bed. Today I will take that shower. Today I will take my meds. Today I will put some clothes on. I will get dressed. Today I will. Actually, I mean, you got me. I mean, because that was beautiful. That was, I mean, I felt every bit of that. Because that's work. To us, it's just what we do. No, that was truly work.
Yes, yes. And it
And mental
reminds
work.
me,
Mental work, not just physical, mental work.
sometimes I go back and it is just, it's a reminder that I need this medication. It's a reminder that I came a long way. It's a
Mm,
reminder that I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
yes.
And I was just thinking of while we were talking about earlier being a single parent.
Mhm.
One time, it was probably several times, but in this particular incident, I was laying in bed. I was laying there for a long time as
Mhm.
usual. And I remember my son, he was like 4 or 5, and he was playing next to my bed and with his little cars, and I was just so grateful I'm in his presence and he's just doing this thing. I'm laying there.
Mhm.
But he turned around and he looked at me. He said, Mommy, take your medication and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that hurt me so bad because
Yeah.
he knows my depression without even saying it. He
Yeah.
sees me struggling.
Mhm.
He thinks this is what moms do is lay in bed. And it hurt me so bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just remembering that, remembering how far we've come, because it's not just me. Like you said, it's a village, but Phelan,
Mhm.
my son, is also going through some things too, watching me. I'm
Mhm.
so
Oh
grateful
yeah.
that he has coping skills.
Yeah.
Uh, when he's upset, he goes on a walk. And I'm
Good.
just so proud of him because I'm walking all the time. I'm saying I'm going to clear
Yeah.
my mind. And he's doing
Right.
those things that I'm modeling healthy lifestyle skills. And I'm
Good.
grateful not only that he's a sponge that can take in uh, the good, but he can take in the bad and balance it.
Good. Good.
He's
Praise
learning how
God.
to balance it.
Yes. Praise God for that. And I love how your coping mechanisms, like I said, I'm big on walks. I'm huge on walks because there's and drives, just even by myself or just going for a walk, because it clears your head. You know, I remember when I was in, because I was at one of the high schools, and there was a young lady who had severe disorder when it came to being bipolar. I mean, severely, and schizophrenia actually. And she would just hear these voices, but she had these violent tendencies, and so, and at the time I was over the security of the campus. So any at-risk child, of course, they're all mine. And so, but with her, that I found that works for her, and that was because she would just voices in her head. Something to smack a kid, because the voices said hit her, hit this student. And she was a big girl, she wasn't a little girl. And we in high school. But the deal that I made with the teacher and the agreement also with her, this is what we would do in order to eliminate her ever hitting another kid, is the teacher would say absolutely nothing. The student had every right to just get up for no reason, walk out, and go directly to the clinic. And the clinic, the nurse there would contact me. I would immediately go to the student. I mean, we had to find a way that would work that. So, and what I would do is just what you just said. I would take her on a walk through the neighborhood. I would walk her however long we need to walk until she found that balance again, that she could be okay. Then I would walk her back to the school, and then we'll go back to class. But that walking calmed her. That's amazing you said that, but it calmed her. Those voices went away, and she could go back into the classroom, focus back on learning. But it was the walk. And it just something just came to me, said, we're gonna walk this, cliche, we're gonna walk this off. Well, we walked it off. And she would go back. I mean, it's so you people have to find what works for them in order to calm them to a place of finding there's to calm that spirit in them in order so they can function again. And what works for you may not work for somebody else, but there is something you can do that can still calm your spirit, because we know when we out of whack. We know when something isn't right and things are out of balance. We know, but you can ignore the signs, or you can, and when you ignore the sign and you waiting for those signs to explode, or you can calm that spirit and bring that level down again to where it's at a balance. And so we just have to find that place and be vigilant on. I don't want to be that person who gonna explode, because you already know where it's going. Yeah.
And
Anything you
Charlotte,
want to add to that?
I want to make sure I share this. For
Okay.
anyone that is going through any signs and symptoms, whether it's depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, whatever it is, if
Mhm.
you want to get help, please text 9888 to the crisis hotline.
Good.
988.
8.
because this is not just a crisis line. This is a way to find a counselor. This is a way to talk to somebody. Some
Mhm.
of these crisis lines have people that can go to you here in Georgia, not everywhere, but
Mhm.
in Georgia, they have a mobile crisis team unit that can go to your house or
Mhm.
wherever you are. And so this crisis line, 988, if you're suicidal, if you're going through something,
Mhm.
please call, please text, please reach out, please help help yourself by helping someone help you.
And even if it's not just you, but you know someone who is, you know,
Yes,
because they may not be in a position to where they feel they need to, but you're like, but you know they need it. I mean, at least call because we're gonna look out for each other. You know, we just have to. It takes more than just yourself. You need people who's also gonna look out for you as well, and always have your best interest at heart. You may not like some things that they do, but I'm doing it out of love for you. I'm doing it because I love you enough to do that. Because it's all at the end of the day, it's all about our well-being. It's all about our safety, and it's also about the safety of other people. Always about that. I know you said too that there was a poem that you wanted to read.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
I have, as we mentioned before, I'm the author of 6 books, and if you're interested in looking more at my books, go to Amazon.com slash
Hmm.
author slash Smith Ashley. Again, my Amazon author page is Amazon.com slash author slash Smith Ashley. And I'm reading this poem from What's My Mind,
Okay.
revised edition. It's called Remember Me. And
Okay.
thank you so much for allowing me to share this with everyone.
Absolutely.
Um, I think you'll enjoy it.
Good.
Will you remember me when I am not myself? Will you remember me when I do not look like me? Will you remember me? Remember me despite my distant stare and the changes you see, the low energy, the struggle of being stuck, the challenges to be me. Remember me because I'm still the same old me. Remember me as before. Remember me. Remember my smile. Remember my warmth. Remember me, just plain me, like before. Before my illness, before my hospitalization, before my setback and devastation. Remember me.
Mm.
Will you remember me? Do remember. I'm still me. Remember me. Please remember me. And so when you're thinking about someone with schizophrenia, please remember my story. Again, my name is Ashley Smith. Remember that schizophrenia may be a challenging diagnosis like all the other diagnoses, but it's manageable. But you can do it. You can live. You can have a quality life. You can get that. You can make your own support system like I had to do when I live out of state from my family. But again, my family is holding me down from out of state. I talk to my sister almost every other day, texting. It's just my stepdad, my dad. I appreciate everybody in my family because again, when that crisis hit, it wasn't just me. It's a crisis for the entire family, and it takes the entire family and some to get me to where I am today. I mentioned my mom passed away, but when before when I was first diagnosed in 2007, she went down to the area where I was hospitalized, stayed in a hotel, rented a car, and visited me every single day.
Wow.
We were pacing that courtyard. We were reading the Bible. She told me, Ashley, one day you're gonna share with other people about how you made it through. And she was my rock, and she taught me how to be my own cheerleader, as well as the rest of my family. Because, like I said, we're growing together, we're
Yeah.
getting through this crisis together, we're living together.
Wow. That's a mother love right there, Ashley. That's a mother love. I mean, it's I know there's people that are listening that may not have their mom or someone who would do all of that. but like you said too, but you also have to pull what you can pull out of yourself, and some of you may say, well, all I got is myself. But sometimes, even if all you got is yourself is going to have to be enough to fight for you. Because I don't know everybody's story who's listening. I don't know their support system. But I'm just saying, if all you have is you are going to have to be enough until others come to be part of your village. But if that's all you have, and I'm going to stress that, because somebody said, yes, she got all these people, she had this and she had that. Yes. But I'm just telling you, if all you have is you will have to be enough if you want to transition from the mess that you don't like, that life that is a mess, to the process of you getting through to where a life and this person you become to love and appreciate and value. You sometimes have to be enough. Sometimes you just love you enough to like, if all I got is me, I'm gonna fight like everything in me to place myself in a position that I can be better. And like get the medication, get to the doctors. Maybe that's who your village is temporary, what you need. The right doctor, the right medication. And prayerfully God will connect you with somebody as you go through treatment that will just connect with you. But sometimes if that's what you have, just don't make excuses for your failures. Don't make excuses to do nothing because what you don't have. Because at the end of the day, you still got you. And nobody's gonna be affected with any of the stuff you go through with mental illness more than yourself. This is the one person that's going to be affected more than anybody. Everybody is affected, yes, but the bottom line, you can never get away from you. Even if you leave them, you still with yourself. You're still with you. So I'm just saying, whatever that takes. And prayer, I'm so big on what God is a big God. He is a humongous, huge. There's nothing too big, nothing too hard that he can't help you with. Nothing, nothing. And if you don't have that relationship with God, I want to encourage you to get to that place of having that relationship with him. Because if he's taking that journey with you, you can do that. You can do what you need to get to that better self for yourself first. Then allow everybody else to benefit from where you are. And I again, Ashley, that was a lot on your plate. There was a lot on your plate. And, a lot of people see things like, they'll say, well, back to your childhood. Like you said, you had a good childhood. It wasn't even about that. You had a great loving mother, a good support system with your family. You had high expectation. You were the epitome of what we grow up to be. I'm in college. I'm this, I'm that. I got this loving family that surrounds me. That's beautiful. And then it crashed. It crashed. And then it's like now I got to readjust my life to a whole nother something that you had never been introduced to in you. And then not only that, but your whole family. It wasn't just introduced to you, it was introduced to your whole family, who now had to know this new Ashley. This person who doing some bizarre stuff that didn't even add up to her character. But looking at you, they see you in the physical, but your behavior doesn't mimic what they see. That's a lot. So and then to still love you in your condition. Don't understand it, but still love you in it. Um, that's I mean, that's beautiful. I mean, to have that and that God gave you that. Because a lot of people will flee, they will run. A lot of people will flee, even your family will flee, they will run. So I appreciate how, like I said, your mom stuck with you, your family, and not saying that they weren't upset because that's human nature to be upset with some of the stuff you did, but the fact that your family was still family, and that's a beautiful thing that your mom every day made sure she saw your face. That's beautiful. That's incredibly beautiful and very, very heartfelt. And I know she's gone, but you got those memories. You got all of that with your mom. Beautiful. So I'm just saying, and you can, because of that, you can even show that to your son, because you know what that mother love looked like, to mimic that unconditional love that she had for you. Yeah,
And,
to be
and
your
you
best self to him.
and you mentioned how some of us just have us, just have ourselves. And I want to share
Mhm.
a few coping skills that have carried me through.
Mhm.
Just like you're saying, sometimes we have to be enough.
Yeah.
Deciding affirmations. You are strong. You are powerful. You
Yes.
are you are blessed. You are living. You are
Yes.
surviving. You are
Yes.
beautiful inside out.
Mhm.
If if whenever you're going through hard times, if you just take a moment and recite some affirmations, just to uplift yourself, just encourage yourself a little bit. It's not just before the tournament. It's not just before a test. It's not just before your date. But
Yeah.
whenever you're going through challenges by yourself, before you, when you go into that job and you don't feel like being there,
Mm.
you are a soldier. You are
Yes.
an excellent employee. You
Yes.
are doing the best you can do with what you have.
Mhm.
And you're
Exactly.
talking those things into existence. You may be having the worst day ever. You may be on the bus. You may be walking through the rain. But when you just say a few inspiring words, a little bit of self motivation, you
Yes.
get through.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would highly recommend individuals try is a realistic journal. I talk about it all the time on my blog.
Mhm.
Is making a list of those things that you've accomplished, not the things to do lists. No, no, no. We don't
Yeah.
want to go through this and be overwhelmed.
Right.
The realistic journal is those things I've accomplished. My hygiene, my medication, I checked my email, I went for a walk. Those self care tools, those coping
Yes.
skills. And if you look back and you're having a bad day, you can say, at least I took a shower. At
Yes.
least I took my medicine. At least I did this.
Yeah.
And when you look back at your journal, you can say it last week, you can say it yesterday, and it's
Mm.
and it's so empowering. So if you
Yeah.
just have yourself, consider those affirmations,
Yes.
consider the realistic journal, consider
Mm.
therapy. Just let
Yeah.
it all out. Talk to somebody.
Yes.
Talk to somebody.
Yes. I like that. I like that. Because what it does is your journal, it reminds you of when you did, that day that you don't want to, but it says, but I did that last week. I did it this day. I did it. And all those I did, meaning you still can. I love that. I love that. I wasn't going to read this because I know you read your poem, but I was so inspired. And this is going back to her book, Crushing the Spirit of Depression. This book has so many good prayer. The poems, but they're prayers. Well, really, they're more prayers. And I was just caught up with how many were just so heartfelt, but just inspiring. And so I'm inspired that I think if I finished this episode and didn't read this, I believe I would have regret. So on that note, I want to read to anyone that's listening because I just thought it was so profound in what was, and there's a whole lot of what we just spoke of. And this is actually what Ashley wrote. This is one of hers. So I would definitely, for those who want to be inspired by short prayers, I would certainly say, please get this book. And it says, Creator of my soul and spirit, the light of my world, birthed by the Supreme Being, show me who I am. Strengthen my image of self so I can see what you see. Prompt me to take ownership of my own light and give me confidence to be me. I am wonderfully made. Give me the courage to shine. Intensify my brightness to be authentically proud. I'm amazing. I'm worthy and I have purpose. You're my reassurance. I'm confronted and secure. I'm important. I am an access to your inherited plan, your intricate plan. I'm sorry. I'm awed by the individual you made me to be. I treasure myself and my life. I cling to the divine wholeheartedly to embrace all of me. I mean, all of me. I am strong enough to be who I truly am in my God, Goddess. The light I adore. And that just, it was so many that resonated with me. But this one really took my heart because it says, I am wonderfully made, meaning with all my stuff, all that is going on in my life that I've been diagnosed with, that whatever that is, I still am wonderfully made because God don't make mistakes. So we won't use what that is as an excuse to be less, but because of it, God can create you to be more because I am wonderfully made. So to embrace that, I just thought this was so powerful. I mean, so powerful because it's the light I adore, because I shine. Even though all this other stuff, I still shine. The light, the light I adore. Because you can still shine, even with all of that. And that's what you're doing, Ashley. You are light. You shine. And that is beautiful because somebody else could have broke. I mean, really, but you shine. And it's a choice you chose because you didn't have to even go through this whole process. You could have given up years ago. You've been hospitalized, like I said, even as of last year. You could just say, I'm done. I'm tired of this roller coaster ride. I'm just here. I'm high, I'm low. But you're fighting because there's that light in you. That's that light in you, and it shines because you don't want your light to go out. You're not going to a place of darkness. You're still finding that light so you will shine. And you're shining. You're shining. And I
That's why I love
encourage
this podcast because
uh
you telling it real and you're encouraging us to keep moving, to remember
yeah,
those positive messages, and you're letting people know, hey, if it's by yourself, you are enough. You're letting people know, hey, it takes a village. You're letting
yeah,
people know that it's God.
it's God.
God.
Yes, it's
It's
God.
God. And I love
Yeah,
this. I
yeah.
love this
Well, I
conversation.
appreciate you.
I'm excited about this conversation. I'm loving it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And I hope that the listeners who took the time to listen that it brought them something that's useful, that they connected with it. Because I'm talking to you, and I've talked to you before, but I'm talking to you again, and even just listen again. I'm telling you, I my heart just, I mean, it brought some emotions because I feel it. I feel where you are. I felt your pain when you were speaking of it, but I also felt your joy, but I also felt to your realism that you're not by no means um, ignorant to where you are. You know where you are, and you've accepted where you are, but you won't be controlled where you are. And that's the beauty of what I see in you, Ashley. You decided I won't be controlled in where I am. I'm taking control. It's a journey, it's a struggle, but I'm doing what I need to do to make sure that I define my next step. It won't. And I love that. You're defining your next step, not the schizophrenia, not the depression, not the bipolar. You're taking control, saying I'm defining my next step. But we know that it's still there. I mean, we know the big elephant in the room. We see it. We see it. But you just saying, but it won't crush me. You're not allowing it to crush you. And anyone out there, you don't have to allow your mental illness or your mental disorder or whatever it is you're struggling with. You don't have to allow it to crush you. It doesn't have to crush you. You can still find that balance. So thank you, Ashley, for sharing this moment. Thank you for this, giving light to this month of May with mental health illnesses, to bring light to it, to bring where people can share and learn from it. Because your story Even for me, it's been extremely insightful for me. It really has. We all probably know somebody. I know somebody. We all know somebody. But it gives me a clear understanding on even how to even be more relatable to people like that. You know, whether it's in my family or whether it's anybody else. But it really helps me to be more relatable. So I thank you for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you
And the
for
last word
asking.
from you.
Yes, last words. Again, I want to give you that text number. If anyone
Yes.
is going through challenges, if anyone is going through symptoms or just needs someone to talk to or some resources, text
8
988
8.
988. And then another resource for you, National Alliance on Mental Illness. National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
NAMI.org. Again, there is hope. Living with diagnosis is manageable. And I hope that you'll remember my story and know that even if you're living with schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, whatever it is, single parent or not, you can get through this alone or not. You can get through this.
Yes, you
Thank you
can.
for having me on your show, Charlotte.
I appreciate you being on my show, Ashley. I love your story, but I love you. Just I mean, really, for what you're doing to make sure that you're good and you're looking out for your son and you're looking out for everybody else that you're being a part of in your circle and anybody else. Period, because everybody is indirectly affected by what you do. So I thank you for just taking time out for this, and all you who've been blessed. We want to hear from you. And Ashley, thank you again. And we're going to go ahead and end this episode. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Lewis again, and I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch and be a part of this episode, which is called Crushing the Spirit of Depression. And I hope this episode has enlightened you, strengthened you, encouraged you, have brought you to a place where we don't just see the behavior of someone who's struggling with mental illness, but we actually see them as a person, not knowing their full story, but we see them. I want to encourage you to, if you need the help, or if you know someone who needs the help, there's a national hotline, which is 988. Read the number, dial 988 for help. Because help is a national. So that means you can call this from any state. Call, get some help for you or for someone else that you love. And also, I want to add that you have another resource that you can use called the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, which is an advocacy group that offers support groups, education that can be found online. And you can go to NAMI.org. That's NAMI.org. And you can look at additional resources, information that actually it provides. And I encourage you, don't let all this information that you received today from Ashley Smith or myself speaking go to waste, but it really is to be a help for someone who needs it, to be an avenue that open doors for someone who needs help, that it would encourage you to take that leap because we know the struggle is real and it's not easy. But I do thank you for tuning in. I thank you for being a part of this mental health episode that put on my heart to do, because I want to be an encourager. So go to my website, www.sharewithcharlotte.com. Make your comments. Share what you thought, your feelings, any new topic that I may be able to bring to you, you know, or click that button that says subscribe or that button that says follow. I just thank you for tuning in and thank you for supporting me. As always, I am very humble. So I would repeatedly say that because I truly am thankful. And I look forward to the next episode. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram. Thank you again for being part of this with me.